In this video, we're going to discuss the benefits of selling one-of-one NFTs versus collections, how to be successful as an NFT artist even if you're just starting out, and the biggest mistake that new NFT artists make. So make sure you stick around. You sell a lot of like one-of-ones, and there's kind of a big like collection trend happening. Do you think that, people can still do that, the kind of one-of-one thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, not everybody can create collectibles, and it's all kind of like strategic too. Like some people like the fact that their work is like scarce and you don't have an abundance of it to where now there's only a little bit of collectors. So next time you see that piece, you may want to bid on it because you could be one of those very few collectors. And then there's the other side of it too, where if you are creating collectibles and you don't have the time to create a community around those collectibles, it's almost like it depreciates in value, because with collectibles you can't just like put it out there and be like, okay, everyone just buy it and then that's it. Like there needs to be like a follow-up. Like there's so many strategic things that people do to keep their collectibles high in value. And it's definitely not an easy game either, because although there are a lot of collectibles, there are like not that many successful collectibles, and the people who've done it right, you could tell. It's a hard thing, but I'm like sticking to my one-of-ones right now because I could not imagine animating more than 10 collectibles.
Because I know that you did like YouTube stuff, like you said, you work with big record labels. Do you think that that has helped you be successful in the NFT space?
Yes and no. Yes, because I feel like it gave me the experience and it gave me the credibility. But I think one thing that a lot of people miss about the NFT space is that these are just normal people who are just really amazingly talented. And a lot of times people will get into the space and think that their awards and accolades will be like, oh, this is for sure thing, I'm going to totally sell. But then they don't spend any time in the community. And that's what's so huge about this, is because you have a group of people who all feel like we have found a gold mine. And when someone comes in and they're like, yeah, I have gold too, I'm in the circle, like it feels like they're in for the wrong reasons. Like people can smell when people are just in for a cash grab. And so I've seen people who don't have awards, who don't work with top record labels, kill it in the game. And it's just because they spend the time to be a part of the community, because that's what it's all about.
Where does the community like hang out? How do you get involved in the community?
Yeah, so there's tons of ways. Twitter Spaces is like a one way. You just hop in there and start talking to people. Twitter just seems more like open to everyone. And obviously, if you could get yourself in a good like group chat, like those are always fun. But I know a lot of people have been getting on Discord. I honestly don't understand Discord. I think I'm getting up in age now that like technology is not becoming my best friend anymore. So I'm having a hard time with that app. But I know a lot of people do have great times on it and meet lots of people there.
Yeah, I think it can be a little bit intimidating maybe, like to, go into these Twitter spaces and stuff like that and start to speak to me, especially because it's one of those things where it's so complicated to like be involved, like, and you feel like you have to understand everything like crypto, blockchains, all of this stuff. And I think potentially people struggle a little bit to dive into it. And it's like, where are these people hanging out? Do they even want me to be involved?
Honestly, I feel like as long as you aren't like talking over people in Twitter Spaces and being mean, then you're good. Like, just be genuine. Just be like a good person. Just be who you are, and people will gravitate towards it.
Yeah. Do you feel like people in the space think it's okay to be kind of a noob and stuff like that? I guess like I'm just projecting my worries, and I'm sure everyone else listening or watching feels the same.
I feel like The thing about NFT space is everyone loves just like explaining their side. Like, oh yeah, this is how it works, and blah, blah, blah. So like, if you want to sit there and listen and be like appreciative of that information, like I've heard plenty of Twitter spaces where people are like, I just started and I'm not sure. And people will be like, okay, you got to do this and you got to do this. So it's all about just spending the time in there. And once people start seeing your face more, then it's like, oh, I'm more likely to retweet their stuff because I know who this person is.
Who are most of the people who are collecting? Because I've been talking to people and I feel like some people are like, oh, it's not really people in our industry. It's like more of the people in the NFT space. But then I think, some people are collecting in our industry.
I totally think that there is like a wide range of people who are doing so many different things, but I think a lot of it has to do with people who have been early on in crypto. I know with one of my collectors, they talked about how they got into crypto, which was they were trying to buy drugs on the black market. With Bitcoin, and they were using the Bitcoin, like they just kept it in their wallet, and then years go by and now it's like blown up. And so that's been a story for quite a bit of people that I know. So I'm like, how did that even happen?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
If you're going to spend $1,000 on an NFT today, what would that be?
Oh man, $1,000. That's not enough. I need more.
Well, like say you've got like a little bit more room to play with.
I mean, I have so many artists on my list that I would love to buy work from. Shay, the surrealist, she's amazing. I love Defaced, but I don't think I could afford his work. Also, Katie the Curse, she's amazing. Yeah, those are like the top of my head people that I absolutely would buy from.
So I want to talk a little bit about Jumpstart Designers. What was your inspiration behind that?
Yeah, so jumping into like motion graphics and After Effects was something that I started very early on in my life. And when I was in the NFT space, I kept hearing the conversation of the lack of diversity, the lack of black and brown people in the space. And it really got me thinking, like, where are these artists? And I felt like I was constantly reaching out to artists that are just phenomenal. And realizing that there was such a small percentage of us made me kind of reanalyze where is the origin of this lack of color in the space. It got me thinking about how I grew up and when I first started and not having accessibility and how that was very scary because as a kid, I was always raised to be taught that whatever you want to be when you grow up, you could do that. But I didn't realize how money was the thing that stopped me from living that dream. And so as I realized that, I was like, there's so many kids that don't have access to digital art, knowing that it's so expensive. You have to have a computer, you have to have these programs, you have to have a good computer. And if your computer breaks down, do you have access to getting it fixed? And like, how many kids does that stop to get to this field? I felt like it's not enough to just like send out our like thoughts and prayers, but that we actually had to go out of our way to make a change. And so I started Jumpstart and we have become an official entity in the state of California. But it's just so insane how much love and support that we've been getting and how many people want to help and be a part of this change. Because if we just put it out there, if we just really try to put all of our energy into this, like I genuinely feel like it would change the future of digital art itself. Like we would see a whole new communities, whole new conversations, and just art in general. So I like look forward to the day that we onboard our kids, they get their first laptop, and I'm like super looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how can everyone help? How can we get involved?
Right now, we need like all hands on deck with just supporting and getting our name out there because we have gotten the subscriptions from Adobe, which is super awesome. And we are talking with a few different computer companies for computer donations. And so we are going to be onboarding kids. And because we're not going through schools, we're going to be going through just like the internet. So any kid in the US can apply. So if you know of anybody, like any kids out there that want to be a part of this, who don't have access to computers, that just want to be in digital art, like we need that. We need your voice for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. So why did you decide to do a fundraiser like via NFTs for Jumpstart Designers?
I mean, we're trying to get these kids like in this wave too, if we could start building a foundation to where they can start making income for themselves, their future, their family, like we want to create that. And so the NFT space is the place to do it. We definitely are pushing more towards the NFT space because that's where we found our community. And I think when we start onboarding kids and they are a part of Jumpstart, they could also have a head start in this community as well. Like, hey, I'm a part of Jumpstart, the community that you helped out. And yeah, so we're just hoping it's just another thing that could push these kids forward.
Yeah, awesome. Well, congrats. It seems amazing.
Thank you.
If you are looking to make money as an NFT artist, do make sure you watch these videos next.